Everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm just going to be practicing some of my Halloween makeup, trying to decide which one I want to do, but I thought I would film it for you so that you can get some inspiration and kind of learn from my mistakes as I go through them. This is what I'm planning on wearing on Halloween. It's just a black dress, but I thought it would be a good way to kind of get the full picture of what I'm going to look like. So I hope you enjoy. So the first thing I'm starting with is this Ghost contour from Primark. I'm pretty sure it was like £1. It was really cheap. And I thought it was face paint. Turns out it's powder. So as you can see here, I'm just using my makeup brush and I added way too much water. So it's so thin. But I just kind of worked with it and just kept layering it up one by one. The water did help it turn it into a paint. I didn't realise it was powder until after I had done this, but I think it actually made it last way longer than some of the cheaper face paints you get, because obviously you're making kind of paste rather than a face paint. Sounds gross, but works pretty well. And I only did half my face because I'm actually going to do a half skeleton because that seems to be quite popular. And I just added a mirror behind my camera now just to give me a better feel for what I look like. So once that had been done, I took a flat brush and then went into the darker side, adding less water this time, learnt from my mistake number one. And what I did is just line my eyebrow, but doing a slight point towards my forehead. And then you just go around your eye socket rather than just your eyelid or like your usual eye. And then just fill that in, being careful not to get it in your eye because obviously I doubt that's good for you. Again, layering it up to make it as dark as you want, just being careful to stay within the lines. I then went ahead and added a nose, so for this obviously I'm only doing half, so I just did the like end of my nose, like the button of my nose, if that's something, and just did a kind of triangle, then went into my cheekbone, and then I used my finger to blend it out so it wasn't too harsh, and gave the kind of shadow effect I wanted. Then for lips, I actually did fill my lips rather than just doing a line, because I just think it's a more girly way to do a skeleton. If you're doing it with your boyfriend, obviously you only do a line for him, it works quite well. And then I brought that out towards my ear. Then adding teeth, you want a tiniest bit of paint or whatever you're using and just kind of wiggle it up and down just a little bit. Mine were probably like a centimetre long and I think this worked quite well. I then deepened my contour just to make it look a bit spookier. Then this was a bit risky, but I think it worked really well, just adding a jawline to make it extra defined. I then go in and add an eyebrow, which we'll see in a minute, which I didn't film because it was kind of just a spur of the moment thing, but I think it definitely makes it more effective. Again, I just blended that out with my finger if you were hoping to do the same. Definitely a cool one to do on Halloween, especially if you've got contacts. So this was filmed on a different day and my lens was dirty, so I'm really sorry, but what I'm basically doing is taking a red lipstick and a flat angle brush or a right angle brush and just drawing a line around my neck. I'm going for like the slit throat vibe, so I just started off thin and then built it up from there. Obviously it doesn't have to be neat because, I mean, no murderer is going to make a cut in your throat neat, so I just kind of went with whatever I felt like and then just added drips where I felt like they looked good, obviously making the top thicker than the bottom. I then added like a little teardrop effect at the bottom just to show like what it was, the weight was pulling it down. And then if you do make a mistake, you can always just turn it into an extra drip. Going back to the face paint, well not face paint, ghost contour again, I took a brush and used the black just to deepen it up a bit because obviously blood is not that pink, so I just went in and the bits where I wanted to, I added some depth to make the cut look a bit deeper than the rest of it. I also didn't go all the way around because I'm planning on wearing my hair down, but if you're wearing your hair up, maybe that might be an idea. This is Fake Blood, again from Primark, and it was actually really good. I think it was about £1 as well. My friend got it, so I'm not sure. But I just added this on top of the red. I find putting lipstick underneath is really good because you don't have to make it as thick, so it's not as sticky, and it just adds the base colour. But this red is a much more realistic colour towards blood. And you can thicken it up to make it look like you're oozing blood if that's the kind of gory look you're going for. The only thing I would say is lipstick obviously does stain your skin, so try and make it right, and if it's not right, try and make it into something rather than trying to rub it off because it's just going to irritate your skin and you might look like a pink blob. So this is one option if you just wanted minimal. It looks a bit like a choker, which is what I quite liked about it. But just zooming in you can see the drips and I think it does look quite realistic. I then my camera cut out, which I'm really sorry, but I added a red underline to my eyes. I think the teardrop was a bit far, so if I were to do it again I wouldn't have done that, but the red underline really worked to make you look a bit more deathly. So now I'm going to be doing a cracked doll, so I'm using the fake blood, the red lipstick, a bad eyeliner, and a good eyeliner. You'll see why the two separate eyeliners in a minute. So taking the bad eyeliner, I just kind of outlined the kind of shape I wanted to go for. You don't need anything precise, just what you think a crack would look like. And I just basically used this so I could go back in on top of the blood and it wouldn't matter. So taking my brush, I'm just going to use the lipstick and dip it in and then fill in that shape. Try not to go over the lines, but obviously if you do, you can just make your crack a bit bigger. It's not that big of a deal. That's one of the things I love about this. It's so like experimental. You can kind of do whatever you want. Then adding the fake blood on top of that, like I did with the last look, just using the lipstick as a foundation colour, and I squeezed way too much out, but I'm sure can put it to good use. I found a good technique for this was blotching rather than painting on, because it kind of gave you the like flesh look. I think that's what I would imagine flesh to look like. Not that I've ever seen it, but it just made it a bit more thicker and a bit more gruesome and lifelike. Then I went in with my good eyeliner, which I switch up in a minute because it did not work, back to the old eyeliner, and I just outlined that to make it a bit darker. Yeah, as you can see, I switched to the other one because I was trying to be too delicate with my new one. And then you just go ahead and add the cracks up your face, so it's not just like a chunk is missing. You want some cracks to make it look like you're a porcelain doll or something like that. And this was kind of just wherever you want it to go. Just use your own intuition to think where it would look good. I'm then going to use a really small bit of the dark side of the contour palette just to deepen up the cracks, and then I go in on top of the blood to give that some depth as well, which I think looked really effective because it looked like you had been dead for quite some time. I then added eyeliner. I only did half my face for this just because I wanted to give you the idea without wasting your time, basically. So I think this is super effective. You can obviously add more cracks wherever you want, over your body if you feel like it. I'm just going to add one on top of my eyebrow. So this is me completely done. I really like how this came out. I think it's really cool. Obviously you can do as little or as much as you like, which I love. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, please hit the thumbs up, and if you are new, please subscribe. I do videos every Tuesday, and I'll see you next week. Bye!